Hello there, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's tap into the energy around your connection and the person you're focused on and see what Spirit wants to reveal today. As always, keep what resonates with your heart and release anything that isn't meant for you. All right, Cancer, let's get into your reading. So, the message that I have for you today is this, and it landed with serious intensity. There is a person tied to your energy, and they have been fighting something internal they cannot win. Fear has taken root in them, deep fear, the kind that only surfaces when feelings become undeniable. This person is genuinely terrified, and what scares them most is how powerfully they feel about you. They did not plan for this, never expected it, and now they have no clue what to do. The message is direct. They are scared because they fell in love and it caught them off guard. Everything about this connection rattled something deep, and they have been spiraling quietly since. So let us dive into this because the cards explain exactly why this fear gripped them so hard. So the first card here is the Three of Swords, and it sets the tone immediately. The Three of Swords confirms that falling for you pierced through every wall, every defense they had. They spent years constructing emotional armor, and your presence sliced through it without any effort. The Three of Swords says the fear is rooted in exposure, in vulnerability. They feel defenseless around you. Loving you means risking devastation, and that equation terrifies a person who has been deeply wounded before. This card does not surface unless the stakes are life-altering, and for them, this connection is. The Three of Swords reveals their fear is not about you. It is about what losing you costs. They have calculated the damage in advance, and the possibility of heartbreak paralyzes them more than silence. This card confirms they entered cautiously, but their feelings grew wildly beyond anything they anticipated. The Three of Swords says the danger of caring this deeply, this intensely, haunts every move they make. The next card arriving is the Emperor, and it reveals how this person copes with their terror. The Emperor confirms they default to control, rigidity, and distance as their primary survival mechanism. When feelings overwhelm them, they retreat into logic, convinced that structure can somehow contain the chaos. The Emperor says this person builds frameworks around emotion, organizing everything so nothing catches them exposed. They present composure to the world, measured and steady, while inside a storm refuses to settle down. This card reveals a person terrified of surrender, because surrender means trusting another heart entirely. The Emperor confirms that their distance is not coldness. It is a fortress constructed from past betrayals. They manage every interaction carefully, guarding how much warmth escapes, terrified you might see the truth. The Emperor says they rehearse neutrality around you while privately unraveling at the intensity of their attachment. Control is their dialect of fear, and every guarded response they offer translates directly into deep affection. Then we have the Seven of Wands, and this card exposes the war they wage against themselves. The Seven of Wands confirms this person battles their love for you daily, resisting what their heart demands. They argue with themselves constantly, constructing reasons to withdraw while every instinct pushes them toward you. The Seven of Wands says they occupy defensive ground, fighting not an enemy but their own overwhelming truth. Mornings begin with determination to hold distance, and nights end with thoughts consumed entirely by you. This card reveals that resistance is crumbling fast, and they can feel their defenses weakening by the day. The Seven of Wands confirms the fight is nearly finished, nearly lost. The love is too strong. They are exhausted from battling themselves, and the surrender they dread is becoming the only option remaining. This card says their fear screams loudest right before the walls collapse, and that collapse draws near rapidly. What all three cards confirm is that this person is profoundly scared because the love is absolutely real. The fear, the control, the resistance, all trace back to a heart that fell harder than intended. The cards are unmistakable here. The terror they carry is the clearest proof of how you affect them. Every guarded move they make is a confession in disguise, and the cards have decoded all of it. Okay, let us shift the focus onto you, because the cards have plenty to say about your side. You have been walking through this with a heaviness, a weight that most people around you cannot detect. On the surface, you function, you adapt, but underneath all of that sits a quiet, persistent ache. You sense that something is off with this connection, and that instinct has been nagging at you constantly. Part of you already knows the truth before the cards confirm it, and that awareness unsettles you. As a water sign ruled by the moon, your intuitive antenna picks up on emotional currents long before anyone else even notices them. You carry a frustration with no clean outlet because the situation offers no clear answers to grip. The uncertainty eats at you slowly. And the worst part is having nobody who truly grasps your experience. You project stability outward, but privately you question everything: your worth, your patience, your direction. So the first card pulled for you is the Five of Pentacles, and it captures your isolation perfectly. The Five of Pentacles confirms you have been feeling excluded from the warmth, left out in the cold. You gave openly and vulnerably, and what returned felt insufficient, leaving you questioning whether it mattered. The Five of Pentacles says you have been enduring a private winter, one nobody prepared you for. You feel overlooked by the very connection that once made you feel seen, and that contrast stings sharply. This card reveals that your sense of lack is not material, it is emotional, a poverty of reciprocation. The Five of Pentacles confirms you keep searching for warmth that used to flow freely and finding absence. This card says the loneliness is not about being alone, it is about feeling alone inside a bond. The Five of Pentacles confirms your heart has been shivering, waiting outside a door you once walked through. Now, the next card appearing is the High Priestess, and she unlocks what your intuition already holds. The High Priestess confirms you possess a deeper knowing, an awareness that goes beyond surface level observation. You detect shifts in energy before they manifest, and that gift has been both blessing and burden. The High Priestess says you carry a truth nobody validated, holding it silently deep in your gut. You felt the distance before it was spoken, sensed the withdrawal before any evidence confirmed it for you. This card reveals your inner wisdom is sharper than you credit yourself for. And the cards agree fully. The High Priestess confirms you are not imagining anything. Your instincts have been accurate from the very start. You hold knowledge that others dismiss, and the isolation of seeing clearly while unheard weighs on your spirit. The High Priestess says, trust what you feel in your bones deep. That frequency has never misled you. Your silence is not ignorance, it is patience, and that patience has cost you more than anyone realizes. Then we have the Nine of Wands, and this card honors the resilience you developed alone through this. The Nine of Wands confirms you stand battered but unbroken, refusing to collapse despite every reason to. You absorbed hit after hit in this connection, and each time you steadied yourself and kept going somehow. The Nine of Wands says you are guarded now because experience taught you that openness invites fresh damage. Every scar on your emotional body represents a choice, a moment where you decided to stay over leaving. This card reveals a warrior exhausted by endurance, still gripping the shield out of pure, stubborn devotion. The Nine of Wands confirms you question daily whether this fight is worth having, and answers never arrive. The Nine of Wands says your weariness is valid, your frustration is earned, and your strength is remarkable. What all three cards illuminate is a spirit quietly enduring, fiercely intuitive, and far stronger than it feels. The cards see every invisible wound, every silent night you powered through, and they honor it deeply. You are held by this reading, recognized by the cards, and nothing about your path has gone unnoticed. The universe observes your patience clearly, and what is owed to you will arrive when the timing aligns. Now come in close, because their internal world has been through a complete demolition since they left. Nothing about their departure went the way they imagined, and the aftermath gutted them from the inside out. They expected relief when they walked away, but what arrived instead was a silence that swallowed them whole. The absence of your presence created a vacuum, and every corner of their daily routine exposed that emptiness. Pride kept them moving forward at first, but that pride eventually collapsed under the weight of genuine regret. They wore confidence like a costume, and underneath it, their emotional state was fracturing without anyone noticing. Fear grips them now in ways they never anticipated, and that fear centers entirely on permanent loss. Our first card is the Tower, and this reveals the internal destruction they experienced after leaving your side. The Tower confirms a complete collapse of the false narrative they built to justify their decision to leave. Every lie they told themselves about being fine without you crumbled, and the Tower left no wall standing. Their ego shattered, and what emerged from that rubble was a raw and terrifying understanding of their mistake. The Tower says the breakdown was not gentle. It arrived suddenly and struck every layer of denial. They experienced a reckoning that forced them to see themselves honestly, and what they saw brought them shame. The Tower does not allow reconstruction of that same faulty structure, and that is why this return differs. Whatever version of themselves existed before has been permanently dismantled, and the Tower confirms that destruction was necessary. They cannot pretend anymore. The Tower stripped them of that ability and left only raw, unfiltered truth behind. Losing you acted as a catalyst, and the Tower says that shock rewired their entire operating system. Arrogance dissolved in the aftermath, and what replaced it was a desperate clarity about what they discarded. Their emotional foundation cracked open, and the Tower confirms that crack exposed feelings they had buried for years. The next card is the Six of Swords, and this one captures the grief they carried through departure. The Six of Swords says they have been drifting through emotional exile, moving but never arriving anywhere meaningful. Loneliness followed them into every new space, and the Six of Swords confirms no destination brought them peace. They carried your memory like luggage they refused to set down, and it grew heavier each passing week. The Six of Swords reveals a quiet mourning that lived behind their eyes, invisible to everyone except themselves. Regret traveled with them everywhere. And this card says, the emotional distance they created only deepened their suffering. They tried to outrun what they felt, and the Six of Swords confirms that race was lost immediately. Grief was their constant companion. And this card shows they mourned you as though the loss was irreversible. The Six of Swords says leaving you was the single most costly decision they have ever made. Emotional exile taught them what your warmth actually meant, and that lesson arrived through complete deprivation and ache. Their spirit grew heavy during the separation, and the Six of Swords confirms that heaviness never once lifted. The separation hollowed them out instead of healing. And the Six of Swords confirms that void persists. Every substitute they reached for fell short. And the Six of Swords confirms nothing replicated what you gave. Following that, we have the Knight of Cups. And this card exposes the vulnerability flooding their being. The Knight of Cups says their emotional walls have dissolved, and what remains is pure, unguarded tenderness inside. They feel exposed in a way that terrifies them because vulnerability was never a language they spoke willingly. The Knight of Cups confirms their heart has softened completely, and the hardness they wore before is gone. Emotion drives everything they do now regarding you, and this card says that emotion is overwhelmingly sincere. Their pride no longer shields them, and the Knight of Cups reveals a rawness that surprised even them. So let us go ahead and dive into this because the action phase of their return has begun. Decisions are no longer theoretical. They are being executed, and the momentum is accelerating daily. They moved past thinking about it and crossed into the territory of actually doing it now. A visible shift in their behavior is underway, and the cards confirm it carries weight and direction. Hesitation has expired, and what drives their next steps is an urgency they simply cannot ignore. The approach forming is calculated. This is not impulsive, but structured and deliberately planned out. Everything they do from here is designed to demonstrate change, not merely announce it with words. Their actions are already beginning to speak louder than any past promise, and the shift is undeniable. Our first card is the Wheel of Fortune, and this confirms the cycle between you officially turned. The wheel says the stagnation that defined this connection is over and a new phase rotates in. Fate intervened here, and the wheel confirms this shift was inevitable regardless of what either party did. Timing aligned in a way that cannot be forced, and the wheel says the opening is available now. Circumstances are rearranging themselves around this return, and obstacles that once blocked progress have been cleared. The Wheel of Fortune confirms external events are conspiring to push them directly back into your orbit. Doors that were previously sealed cracked open, and the wheel says they recognize that window is narrowing. Urgency drives them from awareness, not panic. And the wheel confirms this momentum will not stall out. The Wheel of Fortune locked this trajectory in place, and reversing it at this stage is impossible. Coincidences are stacking up around you both, and the wheel says none of them are random. The cycle demanded correction, and the Wheel of Fortune confirms that correction is happening at accelerated speed. Fate and free will merged here, and the wheel says they chose to act when destiny opened. Their timing is deliberate. The wheel guarantees this return aligns with a larger pattern already moving. Destiny opened a corridor, and the wheel confirms they stepped into it with full awareness of its direction. The next card is the Three of Wands, and this confirms they are actively mapping their approach. Planning is underway, and the Three of Wands says they are building a proper strategy, not guessing. They watched for the right moment to step forward, and the Three of Wands says they found it. Preparation defines their current energy, and this card confirms they are lining up details before making contact. The Three of Wands says they are positioning themselves where you can notice subtly and with intention. Visibility is part of their strategy. They want you to witness the changes before any conversation happens. The Three of Wands confirms forward movement grounded in purpose, not desperation or scattered impulse. They are making themselves available in spaces they know you occupy, and that proximity is entirely calculated. The Three of Wands says their patience is strategic. They wait for the optimal moment to speak. Groundwork is being laid now, and every move they make is designed to earn a second chance. The Three of Wands confirms every detail of their reentry has been thought through with surgical precision. Following that, we have the Ace of Pentacles. And this card brings the most tangible confirmation present. The Ace of Pentacles says a concrete gesture is being prepared, something you can actually witness firsthand. This is not abstract energy. The Ace confirms something material and real is heading directly toward you. A new beginning extends from their hand, and the Ace says it arrives with substance matching their intention. The Ace of Pentacles represents investment, and this card says they are prepared to invest real effort. Proof through action is what this card demands, and the Ace confirms they are ready to deliver. Tangible change accompanies this return, and the Ace says you will witness it, not merely hear about it. The offer forming is genuine, and every card pulled here confirms the movement toward you is irreversible. Okay, come in close because what they conceal beneath the surface runs deeper than they will ever admit. Confessions locked inside them would alter the entire landscape of this connection if they ever surfaced aloud. They harbor desires they consider shameful, cravings for you that refuse to dissolve no matter what they try. The words trapped behind their composure carry an intensity that frightens them, and that fear keeps them muted. What they want from you is not casual reconciliation. It is full and complete reinstatement into your world. Their unspoken truth is that leaving you was the single act they regret more than anything in existence. Privately, they have admitted this to themselves 1,000 times, but speaking it aloud terrifies them beyond measure. Our first card is the Devil, and this one exposes the consuming attachment they have tried to suppress. The Devil confirms they are bound to you in a way that logic cannot override or rationalize. This attachment is not surface level. The Devil says it has roots in something deep and consuming. They tried to detach, they tried to sever the cord, and the Devil confirms every attempt failed entirely. You occupy a space in their psyche that no substitute could fill and that haunts them relentlessly. The Devil reveals a longing they consider dangerous, wanting you so intensely that it destabilizes their composure. They are privately terrified of how much power your absence holds over them. And that terror stays hidden. The Devil confirms it describes their internal state of being entirely consumed. Their hidden confession is that they cannot function at full capacity without you, and that dependency shames them. The Devil says they replay intimate moments on a loop, searching for evidence that what existed was real. A quiet possessiveness lives inside their longing. They do not just want you back, they want you exclusively theirs. The idea of you belonging to anyone else triggers a visceral reaction they have never confessed aloud. The devil confirms that beneath the reformed exterior, a raw and desperate longing still controls their private hours. The devil says they would surrender every ounce of pride remaining if it meant having you close again. The next card is the Two of Cups, and this reveals their secret wish for genuine mutual restoration. The Two of Cups says their deepest hidden desire is partnership, not a fling or a temporary reunion. They fantasize about earning your trust again, and the Two of Cups confirms that fantasy occupies them daily. They already envision a version of this connection rebuilt from scratch, and that vision haunts them nightly. The Two of Cups reveals they crave emotional equality with you, a bond where both sides feel honored. Their hidden wish is to hear you say you still want them, and that wish consumes their silence. They imagine conversations where all barriers dissolve, and the Two of Cups says those imagined moments feel sacred. Reciprocity is the word buried deepest in their confession. They want to give and receive in balance. The Two of Cups confirms they secretly picture standing beside you publicly with no ambiguity and no shame. Their private vision includes mornings together, shared routines, and the kind of normalcy they destroyed and desperately miss. The Two of Cups says they mourn the intimacy forfeited and reconstructing it is their most guarded dream. Following that, we have the Page of Cups, and this card unveils the most vulnerable confession of all. The Page of Cups says a childlike honesty is forming inside them, stripped of all performance and pretense. They want to lay every truth bare before you, even the ones that make them appear weak. The Page of Cups reveals they rehearsed apologies that go far beyond what you would ever expect. Their hidden confession includes accountability for specific moments, details they cataloged privately and carry with constant guilt. The Page of Cups says they wish they could rewind time and treat you exactly how you deserved. What they conceal most carefully is tenderness, a softness for you that contradicts the image they project outward. Now, let us bring this entire reading to its close, because the near future carries real resolution. The first card for the near future is the World, and it signals completion of a painful cycle. The World confirms that the period of fear, avoidance, and silence is reaching its natural expiration point. This card says a full circle moment is approaching, where everything unresolved between you finally meets its reckoning. The World brings wholeness after fracture, and this connection is moving toward genuine closure of distance. This card confirms that the walls separating you are thinning rapidly, and a reunion of honesty draws near. The World says the universe is orchestrating alignment, and neither of you can resist what is forming. The near future holds a conversation that changes the entire landscape, one that neither of you will forget. The World confirms what felt permanently broken is transforming, and the outcome favors genuine reconnection. The World says the timing is no longer distant. It is converging, and you will feel it soon. Completion energy surrounds this bond, and the chapter ahead carries more warmth than anything that came before it. The advice card is the Page of Cups, and it delivers guidance straight to your heart with tenderness. The Page of Cups says, stay emotionally available even when your instincts tell you to fortify and withdraw. This card advises receiving what is coming with openness, not the armor you have grown accustomed to. The Page of Cups says, allow yourself to be surprised, because what arrives may look different than imagined. Do not rehearse your reaction in advance. Let the moment land raw and unscripted when it reaches you. The Page of Cups advises gentleness toward yourself first, because you have earned softness after enduring so much. This card says, trust the sincerity of what is offered, even if the delivery stumbles or arrives imperfectly. Stay anchored in your own worth. Receive without shrinking and let their honesty land where it needs to. The Page of Cups confirms vulnerability is the correct response, not suspicion. The cards stand behind that. Now, let me circle back to the message, because every card across this reading confirmed it without exception. The message was unmistakable. This person is scared because they are in love with you deeply and completely. Every card validated that truth, and not a single pull across six parts offered any contradiction to it. The Three of Swords exposed how you pierced their armor, and the Emperor revealed their retreat into control. The Seven of Wands showed their internal battle, and the Five of Pentacles mirrored your quiet isolation. The High Priestess honored your intuition, and the Nine of Wands recognized the resilience you built through endurance. The Tower demolished their internal walls. The King of Swords exposed their mental prison built from overthinking. The Ace of Pentacles revealed their secret vision of a future, and the Knight of Wands ignited momentum. The Six of Swords confirmed their departure from old patterns, and the Lovers sealed the bond between you. The Four of Wands uncovered their domestic vision. The World promised completion. The Page of Cups guided you. 14 cards confirmed one truth, unshakable and clear. This person is terrified because the love is real. The entire spread pointed at one conclusion, and that conclusion has your name written across every single card. So, as we close this, I want you to absorb what the cards lay bare for you today. You are profoundly loved by a person whose fear, raw and undeniable, is the loudest proof of this. The cards promised resolution, promised honesty, and promised that what is broken will be mended by truth. What is approaching you is not uncertainty, it is inevitability, and it carries the weight of genuine transformation. Trust your instincts, honor your boundaries, and know the universe placed this reading in your hands deliberately. Thank you for being here today, for trusting this process, and allowing the cards to speak their truth. I am sending you warmth, sending you courage, and I will see you in the next one.